2016. And for this, I will immediately pass over to Mr. Jeremy Ward, who will take us through the scrutiny reviews.
Thank you, Chair. The scrutiny system continues with a review of the D.H. Lawrence Museum by one of the working groups, and also before you tonight is Markets in Broxtowe as well. So we have the Chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee and also the Chair of the working group here to talk us through that. There was a further addition to the scrutiny work programme of a scrutiny review into diversity and inclusion at the council, which will be chaired by the chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, but run by a working group. It's viewed that will be a longer term. We've had a number of short-term reviews. It's viewed that will be a longer term review, and we will hear more on that, I'm sure, at the forthcoming council meeting as the chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee gives his report to council. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Would the Chair of Overview and Scrutiny Committee like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you through you, Chair. Obviously, we've put the markets report together through Stephen's team, and I'd just like to read through some recommendations for you to consider for us. So, one of the recommendations is to produce an annual market service business plan looking at performance of the markets, to explore options of evening markets to increase footfall at the nighttime economy, research the opportunity of holding quarterly storeholders stakeholder group meetings and to improve feedback, to improve advertisement for the markets across the borough, including using the council website, social media and market traders websites, to promote days and times of markets, lists and stall details, to provide the opportunity of a stall for free for charities. Some places already do that, and I think we should. Explore the opportunities of promoting markets in the north of the borough as an event rather than a weekly market. This would include themed markets such as vegan, local produced food and craft stalls. To explore the opportunities and present through a redevelopment of Victoria Street car park in Stapleford. To increase the market layout within Beeston Square to include other areas that the Broxtowe own, so to make it more visible. To consider whether the council should increase permit charges of hiring Beeston Square to the Beeston Farmers Market, and to consider the possibility of using property, buildings within the town centre for pop-up shops, restaurants and creative spaces as an indoor market concept. They're the recommendations from the working group.
Thank you very much for that. Any questions or comments? I've got Councillor. Go on, Councillor Owen. I'll take that first.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I would just point out on page 25, bullet point or point number 4. Concern was raised that the Beeston Market stallholders found it difficult to get in touch with the market officer. Calls were not answered and messages left on voicemail went unanswered. What's new, I have to say. What's new? It doesn't seem that the presence of a market has had any significant impact and uplift to footfall. The results are very dubious indeed to try and draw any trends. And paragraph 4 on page 30, I think, sums it all up. Market traders or potential market traders are simply not interested. Seems to me that the way forward is to pull out of this business of trying to run markets and leave it to local groups and organisations to run one-off events such as they do in the north of the borough, and thereby save quite a bit of money for this council.
Councillor McGrath.
Yes, Chair, thank you. I'd just like to point out, perhaps we could look at the one thing that people have moaned about, moaned about in Stapleford is the time we shut, or the market stuff, which if you extended it, say till 4, it's up to them, isn't it, if they want to do it. But if you extend it to 4, you've then got the opportunity with all the school kids, and you could have different kind of stalls and all that. And then another thing that we had, Millen, that was quite good, well, very good actually, was the market that we had on the Sunday, and that brought quite a few to the town. So we could focus on having, I don't know, 4 of them a year around certain things. I mean, it was a food market, which was, it was brilliant, but advertisement wasn't very good again. A lot of people didn't know, right? I know it was there on the car park, but a lot of people didn't know. Some of the businesses didn't know either, which would give them the opportunity, if they don't open on a Sunday, to have a stall, right? So just things like that, just to boost it up a bit more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, I'm meeting the staff tomorrow. I'll be in the office tomorrow morning, and the answers about under number 4, I will deal with personally tomorrow morning. Okay, I've got a couple of other people. I've got Stephen, then Richard, then Chris.
Can I just respond to the questions when they're all out?
You feel free, and if I think you're out of order, I shall stop you. Okay. So, over to you.
Right, okay, well, just want to come back on the point about the communication. Obviously that was raised, that's been taken on board, and it seems that there was an issue hearing it on the voicemail, so that deals with that issue really. To do with footfall, the evidence is that footfall is increased by the market in Stapleford, and there's no evidence to suggest that in Beeston, but certainly when speaking to all of the market traders, they were all quite happy with the footfall that they were achieving, and they all thought the market was very, very worthwhile for them. So in terms of shutting it down, then it seems very little point in actually doing that, because at a holistic level, the markets officer is pretty much self-financing, so therefore I don't really see the point of doing that. What we did is we distinguished between events and the actual markets as well. So we recognise that events are very, very popular, which is why we've put a splattering of recommendations about having more nighttime activities. In terms of opening longer, we didn't actually discuss that issue at all, but I suspect that, you know, if it was worthwhile market traders staying longer, they probably would have already done so and not clear off at 3. There's nothing to instruct them that they have to go at 3. I think 3 is the minimum time when they have to go. That's about it, really.
Okay,
in response to that.
Richard, did you want to say a few words?
I mean, firstly, I'd like to thank the market manager and all the staff that's involved in it, because in Stapleford, as the councillor just said, the footfall is up, and speaking to businesses in Stapleford as well as the market stall holders, they've said, and like Birds for example, the pound shop where Bruce was there before he sadly passed away, and and other shops, they've said that the footfall is up on a Thursday when the market's on, and that's good that we got some good feedback from the actual businesses, because at the end of the day we want to support them as well, don't we? So absolutely, if a market's bringing people in. Councillor McGrath mentioned the food market that took place on a Sunday. Yeah, it was really good actually. It was like no one was going to come, then all of a sudden, 9:45 in the morning, I don't know if a bus turned up and dropped everyone off, but everybody turned up at the same time. It was a really good day. I agree with what Councillor McGrath said. More of those events and perhaps different themed ones. Something in the evening would be really good. And I think there definitely needs to be more advertising on the council. You know, we've got a Facebook page and stuff like that and a website, a bit more pushing it on there, because the rest of us try and support it as much as we can. Quite a lot of the Stapleford councillors have shared it on social media. You know, if others can do that, that would be brilliant, because every little helps. And then if we can all, you know, if anyone's got any ideas of people, like, because we all say people want fruit and veg and they want your butchers and all that lot, but it's getting hold of them and getting them to come. So if anyone knows anybody who does anything like that and can help, I would say contact the markets manager and pass them contacts on, and let's all do what we can, because I know there's an economic development team, but you've got one person that's doing that. It's a lot of work. Let's do all we can to help and support them. And again, like I said, thank them as well. And let's make the market better than it already is. But Thursday's our busiest day in Stapleford. So yeah, it's might only be a tiny market, but it's working. So that's really good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
Thank you, Chair. Just looking on page 25.8, it mentions that the market in Kimberley hadn't been as successful due to the location, but it doesn't mention things like the time of the week that it was held, because if you look at events that the town council put on, they're quite successful.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be the sole factor, the location. And I spoke to a town council and he said it was the markets were run on a Tuesday. Being midweek, it's not going to be as popular as it would be during the weekend. So I think it'd be worth mentioning that in the report as well.
One of the things that we're once looking at, of course, is running markets, particularly in Eastwood, Kimberley and Stapleford, together with local events. That way we can boost attendance considerably, I think. So that just a little bit more planning. But since COVID, I mean, we are extremely concerned about the future of town centres. And you'll note this weekend that a number of areas got £20 million to improve their town centres. The nearest ones, I think, were Mansfield to us. I wonder why they got 20 million, and Gedling, Broxtowe and Nottingham yet again got absolutely nothing from that fund. So, unfortunately, we will be lobbying again for resources. But the report itself, I thank you most sincerely for the work you've done. And the report on the D.H. Lawrence Museum was excellent. It's a great national and international importance that we recognise the part that people played in our heritage in Broxtowe. And I think particularly with the virtual tours that can be conducted worldwide, will offer a great opportunity to learn and understand about our history, heritage and culture. So thank you for that. I want to move on then to the recommendations now. I'm set out on pages 17. I did give you all latitude to speak more widely on the agenda. It shows I must be in a really good mood tonight. But the recommendation, we asked to receive the report and refer it to the relevant portfolio holder for consideration. I've looked through the recommendations and I'll formally move them from the chair and as portfolio holder that they be accepted.
I'll second that.
And I thank you all most sincerely for the work you've done. Are there any questions or comments? If not, then the recommendation to accept the report has been moved and seconded. All those in favour? That's unanimously agreed, so thank you very much for that.